Hey guys, welcome to this story of Ihsan and how he transformed his life, going from deliveries and working odd jobs cash in hand to now making tens of thousands of dollars in payouts. In fact, in one of his payouts, he made his entire annual salary in a single payout. What a transformation, and he is actually one of our OG members, joining us about 5 years ago within WWE trading.
Hello, everyone, and I'm very excited to introduce you to one of our OG members of WWA. I think it's more than 5 years or around
Yeah,
5 years,
it's
right?
been about 4 or 5 years now, yeah.
All 5 years with us. Multiple payouts, funded trader, and I'm very excited to have this conversation with you, Ihsan.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
So let's start a bit if you want from the beginning. I know you've been with us for a very long time, probably at the beginning not successfully trading and then transitioning to I think, and you will say yourself, I think full-time trading,
Yeah.
multiple payouts last year and still funded. So I would love to know a bit more about your journey and how did you actually evolve. I think a lot of people will find also this beneficial because some people are on this period of like wanting to get funded. So knowing that in place, I know our company has also changed a lot when it comes into, I think, for the positive and improving things. But
Yeah, 100%.
on that side, how did you start it and how did you transition with your journey into a funded trader?
Okay, so initially, going back when I first came across trading and things, it was really through signals and things. Um, put my money into it. I knew it worked, but I put my money into it and lost it and things. And then I realized to myself that I can't rely on someone else to make me money. I need to learn this myself. And then when WWE came along, I think when I started, it was about around 2021. So
Mhm.
so I went through the boot camp that you guys did and things, and it was really informative and really helpful. But back then, the reason why I didn't get funded or wasn't successful, it wasn't anything due to the education. It was more so to myself. I didn't put enough effort in. I didn't put the time in. I wasn't on the charts as much, and also it was a lot with psychology where I was greedy, so I wasn't doing, 0.5% risk. I was like risk full leveraging, basically.
Yeah.
And back then we used to call it Lambo lots. So I used to just use that and blow account after account after account. So I was on and off because I couldn't afford to put more money into it to actually make money from it. So even with funded accounts and things, I was really struggling. So I thought, let me just take a break. So I took a long break. I was on and off for a bit, had a few, winning periods, but then once I get to the losing periods, I couldn't handle it. And so then I take another break and so on and so forth. And then come last year, I just thought to myself that, okay, I need to make this work. It's something that I've been trying to do and wanting to do for the longest time. So I really put my head down for a good couple of months. And when I did, I found a lot more success and thankfully got funded and, reached payout stage, so on and so forth. And in terms of the education space that you said for the
Mhm.
positive, I 100% agree because everything is a lot more structured now. Whereas before, back when we had the boot camps, you have the boot camp and things, but it's hard to, find individual points that, okay, I need to work on this. How do I get back to this topic and focus on that? But now we got the whole system where everything's recorded, so you can go back and specify, okay, I struggle with this topic. Let me see the videos that's
Mhm.
specified and specific for that topic, and the weekly calls by yourself and Wakar. Everything is so much better. I'm
I'm
thankful for
happy to hear. I'm happy to hear. And going back to the point you were saying, where like you had some negative, let's say, periods, and you couldn't handle them, and then maybe withdraw from trading. You probably had also some hard moments, even though when you were funded or when you come back
that.
last year, that you said, okay, I'm gonna be very disciplined with my trading. What do you think that
Yeah.
shifted, or how you were handling, or how you're handling now those periods versus before?
It's just accepting the losses. Like we all know that no one has 100% win rate,
Yeah,
and whoever claims that they do is probably
yeah.
not true. Um, it's just accepting the fact that losses are factored in within the win rate. So when you do have losing trades, as long as they're valid, you can just go on to the next day and go on to the next trade. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just understanding the fact that you're gonna have wins, you're gonna have losses, but with the trading style that we trade with a 50%, 40% win rate, you can still be very profitable. So if you
Mhm.
do have a loss, as long as it's valid and it's not you doing something silly, then it's okay, you know?
Amazing. And when it comes into diving into the concepts, because something also that calls my attention is that you've been, of course, with us for 4 or 5 years,
Mm.
and as you said, a lot of things have improved. Now we have places where you can actually not only ask questions, but at the same time have a lot of the recordings. Where do you think you were struggling before, but now, after all these new things being implemented over a year and 4 months, I think we have, what do you think you took most advantage of when it comes into leveling up your trading?
The Q&A calls.
Okay.
Because throughout the week when you're trading and looking at the charts and things, there's gonna be things that you don't understand. And then when it comes to the Q&A calls and we ask you, you know, yourself and Wakar, you guys explain it perfectly to the point, making sure that we understand what happened and where we potentially could have went wrong, you know, or what we did right. And if it's something that we did right, then it reinforces the fact that, okay, we're on the right path. And if it's
Mhm.
something that we don't understand, you'll keep on trying to explain it till we do understand. You know, so I think that's a very important factor for everyone, you know, where if you have the opportunity to ask, you ask because closed mouths don't get fed, you know?
Of course. No, and that's a very, very important point. I think a lot of people agree also with that part. I think having the pre-market sessions, having also the sessions with Wakar and myself, where we not only maybe reinforce, but also when doubts come into the picture, like did I took a
Mhm.
valid loss or was not valid?
Yeah,
These things that can make traders doubt. That's definitely an important point because it can actually solidify your trading for the
100%.
better. So regarding your trading, maybe you don't want to speak about exact number you're currently funded, but what was last year's let's say payouts? What was last year's payouts for
I
yourself?
think instead of talking about last year's, I'd rather talk about something more recent.
Okay,
So I've had payouts every month this year, and let's just say within the space of like 3 months, I've made more than half my old job salary
amazing,
already. So
amazing. Yeah, so the first 3 months of the year have been already very successful for
yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
Amazing.
alhamdulillah.
Very happy for you, and
Thank you.
very happy also to have you around the community, have experienced traders. I know you also, I see you always also replying to people around, which also, of course, helps a lot with someone that is already successful and is doing this full time. It
Yeah, I
always
try to help whenever I can because at the end of the day, like if I was in their shoes, I would want that help as well. And it doesn't cost me anything either, so why not?
of course. And what's on the future for yourself? What do you want to do over the next, let's say, year, 2 years with your trading? What's the goal?
S- Obviously, keep going how I'm going, scale up in terms of funding, and then as well as trading, you know, branch out to other ventures, you know, diversify my portfolio really.
Amazing. Amazing, Isan. So I know you've been so long with us, but
Hmm.
if you have to recommend someone to join us or to trust us on their process, what would you say?
Speak to the students, you know, like myself and all the students, they'll say the same thing. Like there's a lot of help that gets put into this community, you know, whether it's yourself, Alex, or the coaches, you know, Harry and Wojciech as well. They're always helping. Every single day, there's two calls. Every single day, there's at least two calls, the pre-market sessions, you know, and to get that within the 7 day course and the profit paradigm shift for the price that they're getting it for,
Mhm.
show me where else has that kind of, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
price.
for sure. Well, listen, thank you very much for your time. I wish
Thank you
you
for
all
having
the
me.
best in your personal life. We were speaking before, and also in your professional trading life.
Thank you.
And I know it'll be very good for you in the future.
That's what I hope for. Thank you very much, Alex.